I had to check my sources on this headline. Not my sources. I had to check news period because I read this headline and I was like, there's no way. And then I remember, oh yeah, Samsung employees in South Korea were going to boycott in the warehouse where they make the memory. Samsung employees were going to walk out on the job demanding a raise simply because of what SK Hynix is doing with their employees. So, as we all know, the memory prices have skyrocketed. I mean, skyrocketed. It is insane. Tripled, quadrupled in prices within a few months. Well, these memory companies are making so much money hand over fist. Numerous companies, just in this past quarterly report, numerous manufacturers, memory manufacturers, broke record revenue profits in a quarter for the history of the company. I mean, I can think of like 3 or 4 off the top of my head where I've seen reports like that. It's insane. Well, SK Hynix, with every employee, they have like a profit sharing thing with them, and it looks like it's about to pay off pretty big. Now, these are employees, I believe these are employees in South Korea? Where are they located at? I believe it's in South Korea. So check this out. Every SK Hynix employee is going to receive at the bare minimum, essentially. Now, this is translated into US dollars. Each and every employee, even the janitor, even if you're an employee, if you get a paycheck from SK Hynix, you're getting a bonus of at least $500,000. Holy shit. I couldn't believe it. It's real. And almost $1 million next year. Say what? How the hell do I get hired on? That was my first thought. It was, damn, are they hiring? Honestly, I was like, shit, I'll scrub the toilets for $1 million bonus. Sure. What do I care? And you'll be seeing the most spotless, cleanest toilets of any company in the world if they gave me $1 million bonus. And that's next year. So total, you can get $1.5 million in bonuses just for simply doing your day job. How cool is that? 35,000 workers are reportedly set to benefit from profit sharing of $169 billion from their operating profit. How insane is that? Now, let's go back a year from now. Nobody knew that the memory, well, maybe a couple of insiders kind of predicted that memory prices were going to go up. But let's go back even farther. Let's go like a year and a half, 18 months ago from right now in the past. Nobody knew that the memory prices were going to shoot up. And I guarantee you, if we all knew this was going to happen, everybody would be applying for SK Hynix jobs. But some companies will have profit sharing. You see that sometimes when you apply for a job, you're like, great, what am I going to get? An extra $6.14 on a paycheck? Like, whatever. Like, that stuff never impressed me because it's just chump change. But this is something different. This shows you how much money these companies are making. Now, this is pissing off. Samsung employees are livid because Samsung doesn't have profit sharing. Well, I take that back. I don't know. I'll put it that way. But it looks like they don't because they are so pissed off. They're demanding a pay raise. They're demanding a bonus. And they're planning a strike.
Tomorrow, tens of thousands of Samsung workers protested in Seoul on Thursday. They rallied over compensation levels ahead of a planned strike that could hit AI chip production. Union organizers and police put the number of protesters at 40,000, the largest demonstration to date for Samsung. Tomorrow, the workers further plan to strike for 18 days from May 21st. If their demands are met, it could delay shipments to customers, push up chip prices further, and benefit rivals. Samsung workers argue there is what they call a massive gap in bonus pay with rival SK Hynix. All while the AI boom has helped Samsung's profits surge to record levels. Other than, the union wants to end a cap on bonus pay which management has rejected. It also demands a 7% hike in base salaries and for 15% of annual operating profit to be allocated as bonus pay. Samsung said it would continue to make efforts to reach a quick agreement in wage negotiations. A company official has warned production halts caused by even a single strike could damage trust with customers and take years to recover from.
Now, this is in South Korea, in the warehouses where they make the memory. Everybody's seeing these headlines, and they're saying, well, hold up. Well, if SK Hynix is making record profits, Samsung reports their record profits. So the Samsung employees were like, well, that's not fair. Well, hold up. We need a slice of the pie. I mean, Samsung is in trouble because they're not looking too good right now. The profits are looking good, but taking care of either your employees, I don't know. So you're definitely, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I basically told you everything you need to know. But if you want to look into this, you might want to apply. Well, it's probably too late if you want to apply for a job. I guarantee you, each and every open position probably has 20,000 applicants, because I honestly thought, damn, are they hiring? But if I'm saying that, and I have no experience in the chip manufacturing, memory manufacturing, but this is just insane. It just goes to show you how much money they're making. So there was a planned strike. It says at Samsung, things aren't looking quite so good as disputes rage on surrounding what percentage of earnings should flow to workers. The company's union is pushing for a 15% operating profit, which market analysis projects reach roughly $202 billion this year. At that level, the semiconductor division alone would owe approximately $396,000 per employee across its 77,000 person workforce. So you can see the lawyers for the union, I don't know, the whatever it's called over there, but I'm sure the lawyers did all the math and worked it out, and these are the numbers they're coming to. This is what they want. This is what they demand, and they're going to strike and walk out if these demands are not met. Well, I'm not taking Samsung's side. I know I get called out sometimes, but I'm just looking at both angles. I understand from the employee standpoint, right? I've worked factory jobs. I've worked blue collar jobs for a majority of my adult life. But on Samsung's side, I don't think they can afford. Now, I know that sounds crazy because they're seeing record profits, but Samsung's in trouble. Like, the company's not doing good. They just got bailed out by the rising cost in memory. Like, their mobile division, not doing good. Now, there's no profit sharing between their memory division and their phone division, but and of course Samsung's going to claim, well, we can afford that. Samsung's going to come out and say essentially that they just can't afford to pay bonuses like this to their employees. So it's one of those things where it's like, I think the employees are going to be shit out of luck. I mean, maybe they will strike a deal of some sort, but I don't know if Samsung can cough up over $200 billion just to give to employees. But if you work at SK Hynix, man, hats off to you. Congratulations, because that is a come up. Holy crap. You're going to be driving a Ferrari, pulling up to the warehouse, going to your 9 to 5. That is insane. Like, that's something you see in a movie. I mean, $1.5 million in the span of 2 years is insane. And these are just regular workers, regular 9 to 5s, right? Imagine that. You're making $20 an hour in a warehouse, and then whatever your product that you make, the product demand just skyrockets. The prices skyrocket, and your company's like, we have good news. We're gonna give you major bonuses up to $1 million next year and $500,000 this year. You would think are sleeping, are still having a dream, right? I'd be rubbing my eyes like, you're gonna do what? Because the companies I've worked for, man, some real assholes, you know. I'm sure like everybody, but man, I would be, whoo, I would be your number one employee. You know, I would be all about teamwork. It is quite the opposite at some of my previous jobs, right? But man, this is something amazing. So I don't know if y'all saw that, but I couldn't believe it. I said, holy crap. So if you want to read this story, if you want some more information, go to the link down below in the description box. Now let's jump into this Motorola Fold, Razr Fold.